Hi, I'm Tia. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a book haul to share with you. Okay, so I haven't done a haul in a couple of months, and so today I thought I would just show you everything that I have acquired during the months of January and February. And it is actually a lot of books, and so I probably won't give too many details on these books. So let's just jump into it. The first ones I will show you are my Book of the Month Club books that I got during the month of January. I actually skipped February, and yeah, so I only have 3 here to show you, and they are ones that I got in January. The first one is The Dating Plan by Sarah Desai. So this is a contemporary romance that I believe is involving like a fake fiance trope. And the woman is a software engineer, which I think will be interesting. I don't think I've read too many books where the woman is a software engineer. So yeah, this will be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to this one. I'm looking forward to all of these, so maybe I should just stop saying that before I say it too many times. Then I picked up The Heiress Gets a Duke by Harper St. George. This is the first book in the Gilded Age Heiresses series. I don't know how many books are going to be in this, but it's a historical romance. It takes place during the Gilded Age, I believe in the United States, because it says the main character is an American heiress, but I think that her love interest is a British duke, obviously duke. So I'm not sure which country it's going to take place in, but I'm really interested in this, and I'm not gonna lie, I think I was a little bit suckered in by this beautiful cover. Then in January, if you are a Book of the Month BFF, you get to pick a book for free out of the Book of the Year finalists, and I went with The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. So this book I was a little bit leery of. I enjoyed Vicious by V.E. Schwab, but I did not really enjoy the Darker Shade of Magic series. I gave up on those after reading the first 2, and so I wasn't really sure if this was going to be one that I would enjoy, but I've heard so many rave reviews about this book that I finally just caved. I was getting it for free anyway, so I'm hoping to be able to give this a try soon. So it follows this woman named Addie LaRue who gets to live forever, but with the caveat that whoever she meets doesn't ever remember her. So that's really all that I know about it, which sounds incredibly interesting. I'm always up for stories about people who, you know, live outside the norm for like a really long time, or age really slowly, or repeat their lives over and over. So I think this should be really interesting. We'll see how it goes. So the rest are in no particular order at all. They're just kind of stacked over here. I have a mix-up of fantasy, sci-fi, historical fiction, and let's just jump into it. The first one is Lancelot by Giles Christian. So this is a fantasy story that features Lancelot and Merlin and Guinevere, and I'm really interested in this. I've never read a fantasy story that, you know, is like a Knights of the Round Table thing, which I don't know if the knights are actually in this one or not, but you get what I'm saying. And I have heard that this one has like a good romance weaved throughout it, which is a thread that I enjoy in my books. Yeah, I like for whatever genre I'm reading for there to always be a tiny bit of romance. It doesn't have to be that way, but I enjoy it more when there is. So yeah. Then I have Dragonfly by Leila Mitchum. So this one is a World War II historical fiction book about 5 young American spies who are dropped behind enemy lines into France, or sent to Paris to risk their lives for their country. It sounds incredibly interesting. Yeah, don't know much more about it than that. Heartstone by L. Catherine White is a Pride and Prejudice retelling with dragons. This is one that has been on my radar for years, and I've always meant to pick up, and I finally got it. I'm a sucker for any type of Pride and Prejudice retellings, or basically any Austen story retellings. So if you know of any good ones, be sure to let me know that down in the comments. I got Sydney Chambers and the Shadow of Death by James Runcie. So this is the first book in the Grantchester mystery series, and I don't know a ton about this mystery series, but I know that there's a TV show based on these, and I've always been intrigued by the show, and so I thought I would check out the books first. I don't know why I'm like that. Like, why can't I just watch the show and enjoy the show for what it is? I always think I have to get the book first. Then I have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. So this is obviously a thriller. I think I didn't realize when I picked this up that it was a YA thriller, but I've heard such great things about this book that hopefully I will enjoy it, even though it's not an adult thing. Yeah, YA books are kind of hit or miss for me. I usually enjoy YA mystery, no, not mysteries. I usually enjoy YA fantasy and sci-fi, not so much contemporary books, but hopefully this is going to sit perfectly with me. Yeah, I'm usually okay with YA mysteries, so hopefully this will be a good one. Okay, I got An In Kindness of Magicians by Kat Howard. So this one I have heard, I don't know, a couple of years now. I'm not sure when this came out, but it's just sort of been like on my wish list for a while, and after hearing enough people talk about it, I finally went down and bought it. This is a adult fantasy book, and I really don't know anything about it. I've read the back of the book, and honestly, I don't really feel like I even still really understand what it's about, but I'm excited to try it. This is gonna be the worst video ever. Okay, I got Ladies of the House by Lauren Edmondson. This is another Jane Austen retelling. This one is specifically a retelling of Sense and Sensibility. That was really all I needed to know about it. I'm super excited to read this. Sense and Sensibility has historically been my least favorite of Jane Austen's 6 main novels, but it has been, I think, 2 or 3 years since I've read it. So I would like to reread it and then read this one. Maybe for Jane Austen July, that'll be something that I tackle. And I have Somewhere in France by Jennifer Robson or Robson. I'm not sure which one that is, but this one takes place during World War I, and it's following a young woman, a British young woman, I believe, who has always been stifled by her parents, and she wants more out of life than like what women are generally expected to do during this time period. So she gets a job driving an ambulance in France, and it's just her story of, I guess, what happens in France during World War I, and I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to say that every time. I'm sorry. Okay. Then I have Silence for the Dead by Simone St. James. So I think I got this in January. I'm not 100% sure, but I went ahead and bought the other 3 books of Simone St. James that I didn't already own because I'm trying to read her entire backlist. And yeah, I think I have like 4 left to read, and then I'll be caught up with her books until she puts out another one. But anyway, I honestly don't know what this is about, and I don't really want to read the back of the book because I sort of enjoy going into Simone St. James's books blind. This one, I mean, Simone St. James writes like ghost stories, I guess is how you would say it. They're usually, her older ones, I think, usually have like a theme of romance, and there's also paranormal mystery going on as well. So I'm assuming these 3 backlist ones are all going to be like that. So I also got The Other Side of Midnight, and I got Lost Among the Living. I picked up A Fall of Marigolds by Susan Meissner. I picked this one up in January after reading As Bright as Heaven by Susan Meissner, and absolutely loving it. I feel like, I don't know how many books she has, so I may not ever be able to read her entire backlist, but I definitely want to read as many as I can because I loved As Bright as Heaven. So this is another historical fiction. This one looks like it's dual timeline, alternating between 1911 and 2011. So Kristen Harmel was recently recommended to me by one of my friends on Instagram, and I have one of her, I think her newest release on my TBR as well. I'm doing this thing through Instagram. It's like 12 friends recommend 12 books in 2021, and yeah, but anyway, so I picked up some more of her books because they all sounded so good. The Room on Rue Amelie by Kristen Harmel, and I also got The Winemaker's Wife by Kristen Harmel, and there might be another one in here somewhere too. I'm not sure. I know, I'm the worst. So I got Layla by Colleen Hoover. I think that this is a paranormal thriller type book. I'm not exactly sure what this book is about, but some of my friends on Instagram read it recently and they really enjoyed it, and it just sounded so intriguing how much they enjoyed it and what they said about it. And I have not really enjoyed Colleen Hoover's more romantic type books, but I did really enjoy Verity. That one was definitely a page turner. And so I know this one isn't going to be like Verity, I don't think, but I'm hoping it's going to be a page turner like that one was. Okay, now I got a couple of Marie Benedict's books. This is Carnegie's Maid, which is another historical fiction. Then I have Lady Clementine. This is a historical fiction that is about the wife of Winston Churchill. I have a science fiction book that I picked up, I think in February. This is Do You Dream of Terra 2 by Timmy O. This one I think I heard about through Tori Morrow in her favorite books of 2020. I want to say I'll leave the video link down below because you should definitely go and check her out if you haven't already. But her 2020 favorites, just I put so many of her books on my TBR. Her love for books is so infectious, and the way that she described this book just really made me want to pick it up. This one is about I believe that the earth is like dying and a bunch of people have to go and like start a new way of life on a different planet, and I'm terrible at explaining this because I haven't read it yet. And anyway, so it's just following these people who are going to be living on Terra 2. I picked up Songs for the End of the World by Salima Nawaz. This one is one that I heard about from Modern Mrs. Darcy. She has amazing recommendations on her website as well as on her podcast. What Should I Read Next, I believe is what it's called. And anyway, so this one is like an apocalyptic book that is actually following like a virus outbreak. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that it is like a coronavirus outbreak. And this was actually written before the coronavirus happened. And I think that this was like, the publishing of this book was put off in the United States because COVID happened like right when this was about to come out. And I'm just incredibly interested in reading this, and I don't know why I haven't read it already. I just got it in February, and yeah, I really want to read this one and see how much it mirrors what is going on in the United States or in the world, but I imagine it's probably going to be maybe even worse than what's actually happened, but we'll see. I picked up The Glass Hotel by Emily St. John Mandel, which is a book that came out in 2020. Yeah. And I have no idea what this book is about. And the only reason why I got it is because I loved Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, and I am super hopeful that I'm going to love this too. I don't really want to know what it's about. I really don't like knowing much about books before I read them. I just know that I love this author's writing in Station 11, so I have high hopes for this. Okay, then I picked up World Girls by Tochi Onyebuchi. So this one follows two sisters in a post-apocalyptic Nigeria. This one, I believe, is YA sci-fi fantasy, maybe like a mixture. I'm not sure which one it leans more heavily on. And I cannot remember who. Oh, you know, I think I saw this on Naya Reads and Smiles. I can't remember if it was her favorites video or not for 2020, but I will look it up and I will link it down below because she definitely recommends this book and she talks about it way better than I can since I haven't read it yet. Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston is a book that I have seen everywhere lately, and it is a middle grade fantasy book that I am super excited to read. I'm hoping I can get to this during middle grade March, but we'll see because the month's already halfway over. I did pick up 3 historical romances, the closed door kind, because I just really love these gentle, slow burn historical romances. I've really been enjoying like Mimi Matthews. Obviously I've talked about her in other videos. You're probably sick of hearing me talk about her. These aren't by Mimi Matthews, but I'm hoping that they're just as good. So I did pick up Forget Me Not by Sarah M. Eden. I think this is an arranged marriage trope. And then these two are both by Esther Hatch, and I think that they go together. I think they're companions, but A Proper Scandal and A Proper Charade. So this one I've seen everywhere on Instagram lately, and it is The Sanatorium by Sarah Pierce. This was actually Reese's book club pick for February, I want to say. I think that this is an isolated closed circle mystery that takes place in a sanatorium. Obviously, I could be wrong because I haven't read it yet, but that's what I heard on Instagram. And this one is supposed to be an isolated closed circle mystery that takes place at a reunion somewhere up in the mountains, snowy mountains. It's called Shiver by Ali Reynolds. I finally picked up He Started It by Samantha Downing. This is one I've been intrigued about ever since it came out, and I've heard enough people say that it's good that I finally just broke down and bought it. If you tell me it's good once, then I'm like, oh, maybe I'll read that. Twice, I'm like, oh, it's getting closer. 3 times, I hear it from 3 different people, and then I'm like, I have to have it. Okay, so this one is called The Nothing Man by Catherine Ryan Howard, and this one has an incredibly interesting premise that's probably gonna scare me to death when I actually read it. So this one is about a woman who is writing like a true crime memoir about this serial killer, and he ends up reading the book, The Actual Serial Killer, and I don't know what happens after that, but it sounds super interesting. Okay, so then I also got His and Hers by Alice Feeney, and this is another mystery thriller that I don't really know anything about, but I heard about this on the podcast What to Read Next, and I can't remember exactly what they said about it, but I remember that it sounded super intriguing, and so I bought it. I know, this is just terrible. Okay, and then one more mystery thriller is The Push by Ashley Audrain, and this one is the pick for the Good Morning America book club. And yeah, I don't know anything about this except for it's been getting great reviews, and it's a mystery thriller that just came out. Okay, so then I have this fantasy, I think this is YA, but I'm not sure. The Guinevere Deception by Kirsten White. I think that this is another fantasy that's like a King Arthur type thing, sort of like the Lancelot one that I showed at the beginning of the video. I don't know why that's gotten into my head lately that I want to read King Arthur fantasies, but apparently I do. Okay, then the last 3 are historical fiction. So this is one that I had pre-ordered, came out in February or January, I can't remember. This is The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna, and this was like one of my most anticipated books for the year. I haven't gotten a chance to read it yet, but this takes place during the Dust Bowl. I think it's following a family who is moving from Texas to California during the Dust Bowl period in the United States, and I have no doubt it's going to be fantastic. I also had pre-ordered The Nature of Fragile Things by Susan Messner, and this one is Susan Messner's obviously newest book, and this one I think takes place in San Francisco during the earthquake that happened during 1906. Yeah, and I'm sure this one's going to be fantastic too. Then the last one I have is The Last Garden in England by Julia Kelly. This one is a new release as well. It's a historical fiction that has 3 different timelines, and I think they are 1907, 1944, and present day, and they all revolve around this particular garden, and I'm super excited about this book too, just like all of the rest of them. Those are all the books that I bought during the months of January and February. I went a little bit crazy, I know. I think I said in one of my previous videos that we have just had a lot going on this year, a lot of emotionally taxing things, and I seem to stress by books, so that's the thing. If you have read any of these, I would love to know which one you think I should start with. If you want to buddy read any of these, that would be amazing. Let me know that down in the comments below. I'm really enjoying buddy reads this year. They're really keeping me motivated to keep on top of my TBR. So definitely let me know that down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're all doing well, and I will see you next time.